The question isn't whether the world is changing. It's whether you'll be ready for it. At Arizona State University, your education is built around the careers of the future. You learn from renowned faculty and researchers who are driving their fields forward, not just teaching about it. It's why we're ranked #1 in innovation and #2 in employability among U.S. public universities. Future-proof your career. Explore more than 350 programs at asuonline.asu.edu. That's a degree better.
Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Krafchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to DATEABLE. What actually makes someone desirable? And how do you stay connected to attraction and chemistry throughout the ups and downs of dating and relationships? In day 4 of our 7 days of dating confidence, we're diving into confidence, flirting, chemistry, and what it really means to embrace your sexuality without shame. In this episode, we're joined by certified sexologist Shan Boodram, who breaks down what creates attraction beyond surface level looks. We discuss why flirting is really just communication with intention, how desire evolves over time, and why confidence often comes from fully embracing yourself instead of trying to perform for someone else. What I love about Shan is how she makes conversations around intimacy feel empowering instead of intimidating. Listening back, I was reminded that confidence in dating isn't about being the coolest or most polished person in the room. It's about being connected to yourself and being willing to express interest openly and authentically. We also get into how chemistry actually develops, why attraction's far more nuanced than we're taught, and how to navigate changes in desire throughout relationships. If you ever question whether you're desirable enough or struggle to feel confident expressing attraction, this episode is your reminder that confidence and chemistry are deeply connected to authenticity. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen so the next episode in the series lands right in your feed, and leaving us a 5-star review truly means so much to us. Enjoy! Shan, it is so good to have you on our podcast finally. We've been wanting to have you on for so long, and we've been both following you for so long that I feel like it's almost surreal to be talking to you without you being a YouTube video talking, at me.
I love that you told me we weren't going to get foreplay, and here we are licking each other, kissing all the right spots.
I am getting to every crevice.
There we go. Warming me up, buttering me up. Well, consider me sauteed. I'm really into it. Thank you. And congratulations on your huge success, too, of your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Congrats to your baby. Hello. Of all the things we should be congratulating
That's
each other
what I say every morning. I say, congratulations to you, baby, because you got born by me. I am very grateful.
That lucky baby. How old is your baby? Like 9 months?
Yes.
Did I do the calculation?
Yes,
wow.
It's perfect. 9 months in, 9 months out.
Who is Shan Boodram? She's a certified intimacy educator and sexologist who teaches people to be more competent and confident. And I love that you are a self-proclaimed Dr. Ruth meets Rihanna, because that is absolutely true. And sometimes I see more of the Rihanna coming through you,
You know what's funny is that in real life, nobody has ever compared me to Rihanna. So I love that I put it out there in the universe. Now people are like, yeah, I kind of see it.
I get that.
You're like, I did this. I
did it. I manifested this moment.
She's spent the last 15 years discussing sex, relationships, attachment, and intimacy. She's a best-selling author with her book, The Game of Desire, and was the host and executive producer on Quibi's #1 daily show, R.I.P. Quibi, but you had their #1 daily show, Sexology, with Shan Boodram. She also appeared on Netflix, Too Hot to Handle, one of my favorite guilty pleasure shows. In addition to The View, Good Morning America, Dr. Oz, just to name a few. She's now serving as a sex and relationship expert on my crush's show, Peacock's new dating show called X-Rated, hosted by Andy Cohen, and that's premiering when? We've been hearing lots of different dates.
Oh, it's been out. It's there right now. Go binge it.
Oh, it's already out.
It's dropped. Okay. It just came out, so it's totally fine. It came out like on Thursday.
That's what I'm doing immediately after this.
Immediately. Andy Cohen.
And that's how advertising works.
That's how word of mouth works. There's even more about Shan. She's originally from Toronto, currently lives in LA, and she is married with, as we mentioned, a 9-month-old baby. So how does one get into sex education? How did you become a certified sex educator?
So the short answer to this is that I had a super shitty teen sex life. And I thought to myself, either everybody a la the Catholic school that I went to and my parents and every other elder was right that this is a terrible area of life that only results in green penises and unwanted babies and displeasure, or I'm interacting with this in the wrong way and I need to educate myself to try something new. So I decided before I joined a nun covenant that I would try something new. And so I got a library card and I read every book possible about sex education that I could over a summer. And I had an aha moment where it was like, wow, there's great information, but it's really boring and unapproachable. I wonder if I could be the person who makes sex education sexy. And of course, there's other people who were doing that, but they were older and white in my time. This is 15 years ago. So obviously now the market's definitely opened up and there's a ton of great examples of people doing this kind of work. But back in the day in 2005, when I had this thought, I didn't know of anybody else, who I could name or locate even that looked like me, who sounded like me, who was doing that work. So that's where my initiating thought was. I then moved to California a few years later, and then I got an associate in sex education. And then I also became certified as a sexologist from that same institution. And then now I'm back in school now to get a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and Human Development. So I can hopefully, end up with a title of behavioral psychologist, which just allows me to attack the word intimacy from all angles. From a psychological perspective, from a biological perspective, and then from a journalistic perspective, which is like my earliest roots because I am curious for a living and I want to push the boundaries. And more than that, I'm of the people. Like I want to talk and reflect the experiences of other people. So that's pretty much how I became who I am.
So what has been the biggest surprise that you've encountered with people's relationships, especially as it pertains to sex?
I think the biggest surprise is how much there's a positive correlation between awareness and education and people's positive results. Does that sound ridiculous? But in that, I mean, like I've seen so much good that has come from the kind of work that I'm doing and the kind of work that's being done, even just in terms of, because I've been in the space for a while. Now the topics that are taboo are so different than the taboo topics than they were. Now the questions that I'm getting are so much different than the questions that I used to get. Like if you just give people a little bit of knowledge and information, they can truly take that and apply that to make meaningful changes in their life. So I think for a long time, the question has been, is sex education necessary? Which I've definitely debated. It has been, do I need to go to therapy? The question has been, well, why do I have to learn about how to date? But from my perspective, I have watched people just take in little bits of information and seen how that has completely made an impact in the quality and quantity of problems that they're having. So the biggest aha that I've had in my career is like, wow, this shit really works.
This shit really does work. And, Julie, I'm going to ask you, do you remember who was in your sex education videos or who was doing your sex education? Because all I remember is a woman that looked like my grandma if she were white, telling me not to have sex because I would get pregnant or have an STD. At the time, it was called an STD. And I remember just being like, first of all, this woman does not scream sex to me at all, and I cannot relate to her. And second of all, I'm never going to fuck anybody because I'm just going to get pregnant and have STDs for the rest of my life.
Well, it definitely was a nurse for sure. I always think of Mean Girls when they're like, you will get an STD and die. Like that's like the, that's the message that's been implanted though for so long. And I think we're really excited to talk to you about just desire overall. Like that can be sexual desire, but just even desire in relationships. I think your book, first of all, I love the book, Game of Desire. I think that's like the best.
It's a great title too.
The best way. Yeah. And I think it's like, what does desire mean to you? Because I feel like there's so many definitions of that word.
I feel like it's simplified. It's just, what do you want, right? Like what do you want when you wake up in the morning? What is the thing that crosses your mind, either as a hope, as a dream, or as a goal? I think that that's what our desires are. I think sometimes our desires can feel like whimsical goals, and that's okay too. But when you answer or think about, in relation to intimacy in particular, what do you want? Those are your desires. So it's a fun game right now. What do you guys want?
I want ice cream. I desire ice cream all the fucking time.
I said in regards to intimacy, you cheater.
Well, you didn't let me finish the
desire
sentence.
ice cream.
I desire ice cream on my body. On my body. During. You know what I desire? I desire words of romantic words during sex. Like, you look beautiful. You look ravishing. I don't know what it is. Like, you smell amazing. Just that extra 10% of making me feel desirable.
Yeah. I think the desirable piece is interesting because I feel the same way. It's like you just want to be wanted by your partner. It's like even verbally, I think it's action wise too. It's like sometimes you just want that person to, come up and lay one on you, right?
What do you desire, Shan?
I think, like, if I'm honest, I was trying to reflect on that. Like, what is the thing that I desire right now? Like, I have a life partner that I have a great relationship with, and I just couldn't ask for anything more from that. And I think we're on a really great wavelength right now. So I think currently I desire a flirt buddy who's outside of my relationship that we're both really clear on that being a thing. I think I have pseudo people right now where it's kind of danced around, but I would want somebody who just knows what it is and we're really direct about it. I think that'd be fun.
Ooh, that should be a service. A flirt
It should
buddy.
be a service. I mean, it really technically is a service. There's a artificial intelligence bot that's called Slutbot. And you basically, you sext with Slutbot.
Oh my God.
So in theory, and I am signed up for that. So in theory, I do have that, but
But it's a bot. Yeah.
I know it's a bot. And then sometimes when I say things, that they'll come back with something that's not really quite like what I said responding. I'm like, this needs some kinks to be worked out. So.
Well, since we're talking about this, do you think that by building desire and intimacy with someone else can actually create more intimacy in your current partnership?
In my current partnership, yes, because of how myself and my life partner, one, initiated our relationship, two, the conversations that we've had, so that I know how it would benefit. And I also know myself. I consider myself somewhat of a cuckolder where I feel like I'm turned on by the idea of my partner, one, experiencing desire for other people, but also being desired by other people. So I know for me, it definitely would help to build desire. For somebody who's extremely monogamous, it would do quite the opposite. So there's no, I mean, I always have to say that there's no one size fits all because it makes it seem like everyone's different. I mean, people are different within a spectrum of choices. So doesn't mean that we still can't make predictions and clear cut rules, but I think it is an important question to ask.
So let's talk about desirability. We hear from our listeners. It's a good topic. We hear from our listeners all the time that they go on dates and it's kind of either meh or they fall in the friend zone and there's none of that oomph that you need. How can people kind of add that desirability without necessarily having sex or leading with sexual things?
So in the game of desire, Julie, which you read, yes, bitch. I think that there's a couple of things that stick out to me for that. One, the thing I talked about is that in many ways, when you're setting up a date with somebody, you're putting the ingredients together for stir fry. So the ingredients for stir fry and ramen are pretty identical, except the difference is if you've got ramen, there's a broth to it. And so when you have stir fry, you have your noodles, you have your vegetables, you have your egg, you have whatever meat you want to throw in there, and that's there. When you go on the date, you're basically figuring out if there is that broth, that secret sauce. And there's no way of knowing other than being there. But stir fry is still delicious. So the point that I'm making to that is that not every date has to have that sauce and broth to it for it still to be enjoyable and an experience. You're I'm glad that I went. Maybe you don't even go a second date, but nonetheless, if you do your due diligence, you shouldn't be exhausted by the fact that you don't have that spark. Because that spark is really just the true magic that, again, you can't even assume is going to be there. You just have to be hopeful. But if you want to increase the chances, just say you have everything there and the broth is there, you can feel it and see it, but no one's pouring it. There was a section that this stripper did that was how to flirt like a stripper. And because strippers in essence have this job of creating chemistry instantly with people, they have to go over to somebody and create this interaction that feels desire rich. And to do that, she said that she talks about the forbidden pleasures of life. So rather than the topics being mundane, like what do you do for a living? How was your day? How is the weather going? Did you watch the game last night? It's talk about splurges, talk about vacations you love to be on, talk about food, the best food you've ever eaten before, talk about sex. I mean, that's just in itself a topic that's obviously going to breed desire and sexual chemistry if you lean into. But if you don't want to be that overt, still talk about the things that light people's eyes up. You know, what is the craziest thing that you've ever done? What's the last time that you thought to yourself, I could die and I would be happy? Like, what were you doing in those moments? And that elicits people's arousal. Arousal transfer is something that occurs when you have like a heightened sense of being, or you have heightened senses, or you're in fight or flight. And when arousal transfer happens, you can take that and apply it to other areas of arousal. So this can happen like during anger. So if I am really angry at my partner, that can be transformed into like angry sex because I'm at a heightened state of arousal. So how can you mimic that? Like, how can I get somebody in a heightened state, which makes it naturally easy for us to transfer that over into like a romantic state? So there's even studies that say that if you go on a date, there was like a swinging bridge study. So people went on a date, one on a bridge that was not swinging and talked about like a set range of topics that the researchers had put out. And then another exact same thing was replicated, but on a swinging bridge. And couples who were on the swinging bridge all said that they felt more attraction to each other just because there was an element of danger, so arousal, that brought that sauce to it. So that's part answer to say, sometimes there is no chance of sauce. You just don't have it with that person. That's cool. And sometimes the sauce is there, but nobody's pouring it. So you have to create the environment where the sauce spills over.
Yeah, just create danger. Like just be in the middle of the street.
If that's what you heard,
like
yes.
Maybe.
Or have a date
but that makes
hanging upside down.
I just think it's funny, like the seductiveness that doesn't have to be sexual. Like you hear like food porn all the time. And even when you were asking, what do you desire? You went to ice cream. Like that's such an interesting connection that I would not have thought about, to do stuff in a PG way that could kind of get those juices flowing.
Yeah. And I love that because you are also getting away from the dater view questions of like, what do you do? How did you get here? How did you, like, what was your childhood like? Those are questions people are just in autopilot for. But for something like this, a question that's like, what's been the best vacation you've taken recently? That puts me in a different mode of thinking. So it makes me more present in the moment too. And speaking of desirability, I have a friend who just like fucking oozes sex. She walks down the street and I'm just like, damn girl, you are just oozing sex. And I feel like it's a natural appeal that she was just born with. I don't know how. But for others who may not be oozing sex, but want to increase their sexual appeal, do you have any advice or tips for people who just want to up their sex appeal?
I mean, that's legitimately, like you described the premise of my book, The Game of Desire, which now it seems like I'm doing a cheesy ad for that. I'm not. You guys just keep like teeing me up.
No,
and
we're
I'm like,
just setting up.
The ball's here. So should I hit it? But 100%, like I recognize there's a school of thought that attractive is a word that we utilize to people who are bestowed the gift of being in line with whatever the current beauty standards are. I said to say because attractive 5 years ago is different from attractive 15 years ago. But the truth of the matter is, attractive boiled down is just somebody who has the ability to draw people in. And seduction, which we again use to describe a friend, like your friend who just oozes sex and they just like have that thing to them where that's just the ability to draw people in and have them wanting to come back for more. And it's an interest factor. There's an it factor about you that makes me glance a second time, and not just glance, maybe even try to revisit you a second time. Like I want to be in your presence. Like I'm drawn into you. And we think about these things like either you have it or you don't. And in life, those things that exist, like in the NBA, there are people who are just tall as fuck and coordinated as fuck, and it just worked for them.
Yeah.
But there's also the people in the NBA who weren't that tall or weren't necessarily like perfectly built, but just worked their asses off and wanted to be exceptional and decided that this is an area they wanted to devote themselves to. So I feel like my book, The Game of Desire, was written for that latter person, where it's like, yeah, maybe you weren't dealt the perfect biological cards. Again, that has nothing to do with actual beauty. It has to do with what the beauty standards are promoting at that given time and in your given culture. And maybe you're not just somebody who naturally oozes seduction in that traditional way that we think when we think about the person who has what my friend would refer to as the club walk. And maybe that's not you, but that doesn't mean that you can't, one, learn to do that if you wanted to. And also to like the beauty of the time that we live in now, if you want to fit in with traditional beauty standards, standards. There's so many tools. Like, it's so nuts how literally anybody could be Rihanna. We used to look at superstars as incredible because they could change their hair every day. They could change their wardrobe constantly. They could be two different people in the same week. And then now, like, thanks to, I think, what social media and Amazon has done, anybody can do that. Like, I got a green wig and a purple wig, like, on deck. Like, let's go. So if you wanted to do that, that's available to you. But on the flip side, if you want to do it in your own way, there's also other ways of achieving that goal without going about it by the most common route. So I have not said a damn single tip for you, because I think the most important thing is just to acknowledge that it is possible. Like a quick and dirty tip, let me say, for if you want to be more attractive, ask people a follow-up question. You know, like, hey, how's your day going? Oh, it's really good. You know, I just came from the DMV, blah, 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 da, da, da. Oh, what were we at the DMV for? Oh, you listened to what I just said? Like, wow. And like, one of my favorite seduction styles from the art of seduction is something called the ideal lover. And the ideal lover is somebody who knows how to speak to someone's highest potential. And the secret to that is remembering what's important to people and bringing it up. So if you work at Denny's, but I talked to you once while I was in line and you told me that, like, I'm thinking of opening up a nail shop. If the next time I see you, I'm like, oh, like, how's the nail shop going? Have you, like, looked at places in the area? I'm speaking to your highest potential. Like, I'm exciting you based on the version of who you want to become. So when I'm around you, I feel like I'm in reflection of the self that I desire to be, and thus I desire to be around you. Like, that's the most basic ass way, I think, to be attractive.
That's so interesting, because you think, like, people think of when you're trying to, like, up your attraction, it's all about physical traits, but you clearly listed none of them, and it's all about making that other person feel good, essentially. Like, you're using that essence.
Let's hold that thought, because we have a quick message from our sponsors. Are you in the market for a new mattress? Well, Avocado Green Mattress is truly the answer for you. Their certified organic mattresses sleep cool, relieve pressure, and support your body so you can enjoy deep, restorative sleep. Every Avocado mattress uses healthy, natural materials, and they're even handmade. What really got me was being able to go in and feel it for myself. You can actually walk into one of their 14 plus showrooms or partner locations to test it out. And trust me, once you lie down on one, you'll just know. And you'll also feel good knowing that your bed is made from real certified organic materials like cotton and wool, which provide that perfect blend of breathability, support, and durability. And remember, you can experience them in person at an Avocado showroom or a premier retailer near you, or shop online at avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable to check out their mattress and furniture sale. That's avocadogreenmattress.com/DATEABLE. avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable.
If you're someone whose book talk algorithm is basically just dark romance recommendations, I have one for you. Losers Part 1 and Part 2 by New York Times bestselling author Harley LaRue. I love this book because it transported me back to high school. It's a dark romance that starts with a former queen bee reconnecting with the 4 guys she used to bully in high school. What begins as revenge turns into something way deeper. Found family, healing, queer representation, kink exploration, and honestly, some of the most emotionally layered relationships I've ever read in this genre. It was such a page turner, I could not put it down. The relationships between all the characters are what made the story so addictive. And if you're a physical book collector, the new deluxe editions are gorgeous. They have stenciled edges, exclusive fan art, and the foil covers connect to create one complete set. You can find Losers Part 1 and 2 by Harley LaRue wherever books are sold, in print and in ebook. I guess, like, you mentioned, a lot of the reason why you got in this field is from your own seeing sex and not being what you thought it would be. Did you always kind of like ooze this like confidence, or is this something you had to learn?
I don't know about that. I think I might. I have 2 really confident parents. My dad's a paramedic. My mom's a nurse. My dad is a wild ass person. Like, I think in life, if you want to understand me more, you have to watch one video with my dad. You're like, oh, that makes perfect sense. So I would be hard pressed to say. I mean, I also am somebody, you know, who's a person of color who went to an all white school. And so I was never looked at as attractive. And I definitely had to fight for recognition or attention. And sometimes sometimes the way that I fought wasn't always appealing either. Cause I was mean to other people in order to like raise myself up in the status and eyes of like my peers. So the way that I tried to get attention, I don't think was necessarily the healthiest way. So, but that isn't to say that I wasn't an unconfident person, because I always fought. I think that's a part of confidence too, is like, do you feel like you deserve to be shiny or looked at like a shiny object? So I think I've always had that notion in my brain that like I deserve to be shiny, but the way that I advertise myself, I don't think was always like the best or, in line with what my highest self or potential is. So I think that to say, I do think that I'm always somebody who had a belief system that I mattered. And I think that's a base. A lot of people don't have that. And I don't want to take that for granted, like, because everyone's start line's a little bit different. But I think my confidence sometimes got in the way because I would do bad things very deliberately and very aggressively. So that applied to my sex life. I had a lot of sex before I realized something is going wrong, because I was doing it the wrong way, very aggressively. And similarly with me when it came to dating, I wrote The Game of Desire because a few years before, I just had such trash. I'm one of those people who was like, hate all my exes, don't want to talk to none of those motherfuckers, hate dating. I'm exhausted by the experiences, hate dating apps. And then I was like, there's a lot of commonality in my dislike for things that are based around connecting with somebody else is the common denominator, the way that I'm interacting with it. So I feel like, again, I was very confident, but my technique was just not finessed or not aligned with what I ultimately desired. So I ended up confidently putting myself in shitty scenarios until I was like, wait a second, like, should I just turn this car around and start again and see where this takes me instead?
Right. How did you meet your current partner?
Girl, the good old fashioned way. Went to the club. Really.
Were you doing the club walk?
That good old 1950s way. Yeah. I essentially, we met through a mutual friend, which statistically before meeting online was the most popular way. That was like the most popular way of all time. And there's a cool thing about that because one, there's a layer of accountability that's between you and that person.
Yes.
And two, it's like, oh, if this person that I know that I messes with this person, there's like a higher likelihood that we probably are going to be like aligned when it comes to values. Cause I liked who we met as a result of, and that person actually ended up being at our wedding too. Like this is now a person that was important in both of our lives. So I met him at the club, but we only were both at that party because of a mutual friend. So that's probably the easier way of saying it.
And I'm only speaking from what I've seen on social media, but it seems like you two are very aligned sexually, energy-wise. So was it always like that from the get-go, or did you develop this together?
No, we started out as fuck buddies. So that was 100%. Like, I think that was the only thing that we established. Like, he's 6 years younger than me too. So that played a big role. And at the time that I met him, I was on my process of re-educating myself because I just come out of a relationship that was really negative. I was potentially going to be deported from the country because my immigration visa was running up. It was just like a lot of things in my life were in flux. And so the last thing I was thinking about was, I wonder if I could meet my forever partner. I was like, I wonder if I can stay here another month. So I just came out of a situation. I just wanted to have fun and to explore my body and to be with somebody who was interested in that agenda too and can do it in a great way. So the base way that we aligned was on sexuality, which is why I think in our marriage, it's a thing that I've really prioritized. And through pregnancy, where that gave struggles, and even after pregnancy and having a baby, there were struggles with that. But I never let that fall to the wayside because I'm like, this is the thing that brought us together. Just like if we came together because you were my sugar daddy, I would expect that like the finances would be important to us because that's the reason why we got together to begin with. So I'm kind of like that with him and I, like, not to say that we always have a naturally great sex drive or sex chemistry, but I prioritize it. So I think that it's maintained and been pretty spectacular throughout. I was going to ask you guys, how important is sex to you in your relationships?
Oh, we were just talking about this. I think intimacy is very important.
I do too. I think for me, it's more than just like a physical act too. It's like the act of being close to your partner. And I think if you strip that away, then they're just a friend. And I'm not saying that they can't be a friend too, but I think having those together is what makes someone the significant other.
I love that.
Yeah. And we were just talking about the whole quality over quantity thing because I hate comparing frequency of sex with friends because it always makes me feel like shit. You know, you always have friends who are like fucking every minute of the day. And you're like, really? Are you? Really? But yes, I should be doing the same thing, right? And then you have this notion that once you've been in a relationship with someone for a while, especially after having a baby, the sex dies down. But for me, I think the pressure gets lifted when you think about the quality of the intimacy and the sex. And so that part is really important, that my partner and I are always doing a check-in on how intimate do we feel with each other. Even if the physical sex is not there, do we still feel closely connected?
I mean, you're the perfect one for us to ask this to, Shan, because I feel like I'm in a fairly new relationship. It's like 4 months in.
Congratulations.
So it's not, thank you. It's not like super, you know, we're in the honeymoon stage. And
you know what's a trip to think about? Remember being in high school when we would celebrate that shit? Like,
yes,
we've been together for 3 months.
You're like, it's been 2 weeks.
I don't know. I still think that you should celebrate that stuff because I think it's nice to celebrate. But I guess like my question for you is like kind of what Yue was saying is I sometimes fear the different life stages coming down and how that impacts sex life. And I think some of it's inevitable. Like when you have a child, immediately after birth, you're probably not ready to go back and have sex. But like, how have you navigated that through, you know, childbirth and a long-term relationship?
Yeah, I think that the changes are inevitable. And if you recognize that, it just becomes less daunting. I think people's fear is that it's going to change. Like, what if our sex life changes? Like, I'm here to let you know it does.
Right.
And you can accept that. And that's okay, because change doesn't mean for the worse. It can mean better. There's obviously going to be a difference in how you can connect sexually once you now have a person in your home who doesn't consider you at all, who cries whenever they want, who wakes up whenever they want, like who interrupts, who doesn't have any like consideration at all. So like, of course, there's going to be a difference in how you sexually connected before that reality to now. Doesn't mean that it's worse though. I can tell you from us going through the pandemic where we had all access to sex versus us now where we have limited windows of sex, I actually prefer the sex now. I think because we're more intentional about it and it's not like a given. So when we have those times, it just takes for 2 p.m. for him to walk into my office and like look at me and drop his pants and we're like, oh shit, it's on and I know it. Versus now it's like we are around each other all the time and there's no barriers, there's no friction really. It's just like constant, you know, maybe we could be doing this. So when you do it, you're like, oh, we can do this tomorrow. We could do this a week from now. It doesn't really matter. So I think that the sex has gotten a lot better since we've had a baby. But I think because I was open to the fact that I knew it wouldn't be the same, I invited more potential for it to be different, but better because I leaned into the fact that, things are not the same as they were before.
I love that. That's so, I guess that gives a lot of hope too. And I like the thought of like reimagining it too. So it's interesting. I feel like at the start of a relationship, when you don't know if you're going to see this person again, or you're very unaware of like where things are going, I feel like the sex is really hot then because it's kind of like that scarcity, what you're now describing in your marriage after kids. So it's interesting how you can like bring it back and forth no matter what life stage you're at.
I think imagination is such a big part to do with it, right? Like it is using your brain as the other sexual organ that also needs to be stimulated. But like anything else, like you got to do the work yourself too. Like you have to prime yourself and put yourself in the right headspace, and doing that with your partner, which just means more intentional dialogue. Jared and I talk probably like, I would say like unattractively about our sex life. I mean, just to the point, there's no real mystery left. It's funny because somebody asked that question about, you know, when we first got pregnant, or I first got pregnant, how did that impact our sex life? And Jared was like, yeah, the first time that we had sex, I couldn't get hard because I just couldn't get the idea to my head that there was a baby that I was like possibly injuring. And they were like, well, how did you overcome that? And didn't she feel insecure? Like, how did it? He's like, no, we talked about it immediately after. And we just do that. So as soon as I had a baby, for example, and I felt really good in my body for the first time, because third trimester, you just do not, you can't sleep sitting up. You can't move without like giving yourself a pep talk first. Everything hurts. You're uncomfortable. It's just like your body just feels really alien to you. And so when I had the baby and I now felt like I was back to being a solo occupant, and it felt great, but I wasn't getting desire from my partner, I didn't let it breed up. I was like, hey, you didn't tell me I look sexy today. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I really feel like, you know, I need this from you and you're not providing it. And I was like, do I need a flirt buddy? Like, like, what's up? Like, cause mama's got needs that extend beyond changing diapers and carrying this baby around in my sling at all times. Like, can you be my partner in that? Or like, how can we meet in the middle? And it took a while for us to kind of find our footing. And I said with pride, like, we're in a really great space right now. And I think that's the result of just having uncomfortable conversations, literally the moment that either of us has the thought.
This is going to be maybe an uncomfortable question. Are your parents sexual? Do you come from a sexual family?
I would answer that yes and no. I would say that now I would answer yes, but I think my mom thought a form of education was self-denial. So my mom is one of those moms who would just never tell any personal experiences or just did not want us to view her in that light. Like, I didn't realize that my mom had hookups until I was like in my mid-20s, because she was like, you know, I had my first sexual experience with someone that I loved, and then I met your father, and then we had you.
Just
and you're
skipped
like,
a whole chapter.
Like, how am I going to tell this person that I just had sex with a carrot last night when they've had this perfect sex life? So I didn't really feel like she was somebody I could go to talk about my less than storybook Disney Channel experiences or desires, because she always positioned herself like really by the book. And it wasn't until I got older and started doing what I do for a living, and I got past the years of resistance they had to what I was doing for a living, that they actually started to open up and say, you know, here's how your work applies to me.
Oh, shit.
So you've obviously talked to like a shit ton of people. Like, what would you say is kind of the differences in the struggles with desirability when you're dating versus you're in a long-term relationship like you are?
You know what? Interestingly, I mean, I think we can like talk about this, like, you know, anecdotally as we go around, even just amongst the three of us. Like, what are your struggles when it comes to desirability? I don't necessarily know if they're that much different. I guess other than the fact that if you're dating, you're looking for it from anyone. And if you're in a relationship, you're looking for it from your person. And then sort of similar sometimes is that you're getting too much desire from someone that you don't desire. And that does also happen in long-term relationships where you lose that drive for your partner and they still have it for you. And now you're in that uncomfortable disconnect there. Yeah. So I think because desire is pretty linear, like you have it or you don't, right? Or you're trying to create it, or you're trying to stop yourself from experiencing it because you might desire something that's unhealthy for you. You might be drawn to a person that you ultimately know, like outside from the sex or getting affection from them, they're not an additive person to your life. So I feel like the mathematical equation there is pretty the same across the board. But I challenge that question back to you because I might have a blind spot.
The only thing I can think of is when you're single, you're kind of trying to get desire from everyone. Like, people feel like they want everyone to swipe right on them on a dating app, for instance. When
I still want that. I still want to be hot at the hot dog stand. I still want to be hot at Home Depot. I still want that.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you're always hot at Home Depot.
If anyone wants to feel desire, just go to Home Depot. There you go. Okay, so I'm proven wrong that it could not end when you're single, but maybe like when you're, I guess if you're in a monogamous setting, you're trying to like find that person more, opposed to like you are kind of maintain and create with an individual, kind of what you were saying. But yeah, maybe I'm proven wrong that you can still want it from everyone.
Interesting, like, because you know, I think about that. Like, a lot of people will say that, you know, when they're monogamous, they don't have eyes for anybody else, which, you know, is completely natural. And I mean, it's true. It genuinely is true for some people. But if we're looking at, it's like the Kinsey scale, right? Like, it goes from 0 to 6. How many people statistically are going to be 0s or 6s? Like, most people are going to be somewhere in the sexual fluid space. So if we're thinking about desirability, like, I don't ever desire anyone but my partner, and I desire everyone but my partner. Like, those two extremes probably exist very rarely, and most of us are somewhere in the center of that. But I wonder if on the flip side, even if you only desire your partner, do you only want your partner to desire you? Or do you not secretly hope that other people also want to have sex with you?
Good question. Good question. I mean, I will admit that it turns me on when we go somewhere and people are staring at my man. It turns me on. Like, yes, that's right. I get to hit that tonight.
Yeah.
I may not, but I get to.
I have the option.
But I guess for some people that could also, it could kind of transform into jealousy. I can see it going into a dangerous path. But I think for my partnership, I think where the desirability struggle for us is when we were just dating, whenever we met up, it was purely for the context of dating. So it was romantic. You go on dates and you're not thinking about your grocery shopping and the laundry and the dishes that are in the sink because you haven't shared that with each other. But as soon as we moved in together, I think the daily struggles turned into our desirability struggles. And my desire for him has shifted. It's no longer the same as before because now there's this added domestic layer to it. So we're still navigating around that as well. It's just like, how do I have sex without thinking about my checklist? But at least we can keep an open communication about that. And I appreciate the uncomfortable conversations because that's what helps us to create more desirability for each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, even that, there are some people who prefer to leave some things unsaid, and that's possible because then you could just, it's like someone's birthday. You can either ask what do you want for your birthday or you could guess. And there's something cool about guessing what the perfect thing is, but it's also not that cool when you guess fucking wrong. So when you don't have these conversations, you have a high chance of just guessing wrong. But some people prefer that in the event that you do guess right, then it's like, oh, you really know me. And there's some value in that, I guess. I don't prioritize that as much as I just prioritize getting what I want and getting what the other person wants. So I'd just rather ask you, like, what do you want for your birthday?
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with that, right?
I think it's interesting though. I mean, from the standpoint of getting into a relationship and being in there long term and then having to reimagine that. I always tell people too, it's when we first meet people, we have to also acknowledge that we're on the roller coaster of neurochemicals. So you don't have to work that hard to facilitate desire because biology is like, this is someone new. We want you to bond with them. And in order for that to happen, they have to make this person seem as exciting and as thrilling and as lust-filled as possible to you. But then once that bond has been created and your brain is like, okay, well, we're not going anywhere, it now shuts off those neurochemicals because you don't need them to stick around, but you might like to have them because it makes sticking around more exciting. But now you're in charge of finding ways to create like a synthetic version of that newness. And I think a lot of people mistakenly interpret the loss of those rushes of emotions as a loss for attraction to your partner. And it's not that. It's not that you don't love them anymore or don't like them anymore. It's that your body now recognizes that you've moved into a new phase and you don't need that anymore to stay together. But if you still want it, you can be more intentional about creating it.
So the term that's coming to mind is flirting. And I know you talk about this term a lot. And I feel like I love the foundation of what flirting means, but there's something about the term that makes it feel so like antiquated to me and like juvenile. But I feel like you need...
Do you hate it about that or do you like that about it?
I hate it about that. Like, I feel like anytime like you and I have been asked to talk about flirting, we kind of get this like feeling of like... Yeah.
Because gender roles come into play. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. But I think the core of what it is to like show that desire and like, you know, make that person feel special and wanted, I think is very essential at all stages of a relationship. Like, how do you look at flirting and like, how would you reframe that for us?
I use the word flirting like 50,000 times a day. So it's interesting because I call people flirts. I accuse people of flirting with me. Like yesterday, somebody was over. I'm like, you're just flirting with my baby. Like, why are you being so flirty? Which, you know, might feel weird. But to me, my favorite definition is Eros was an expert in my book. At the time, I was referred to as Ari. But Eros said that flirting is just communication plus sparks. And I love that definition because, excuse me, where's the wood section? And excuse me, I'm looking for the section where the wood is at. Can you help me? There's the same, like the context of the communication is the same, but the way that I deliver it, it's the plus sparks. So it's that extra thing. So when people say like, oh, I wasn't flirting, I just asked them what's good on the menu. It's like, yeah, you didn't ask them what's good on the menu. You said like, you look like you actually have some really great taste. Can you tell me like what on this menu, what would you pick on the menu? Like that's different. You know what I mean? So it's like it's the plus sparks element, which makes it also too something you can just do all day long to various people and doesn't have to necessarily might be sexual in nature. It doesn't have to necessarily have a goal to it. Like I don't flirt because I want something from somebody or I want it to go somewhere. I do it because communicating with a little extra something is just more fun. Giving somebody a compliment that's a little just saucy is just more fun. It'll brighten their day. It makes my day better knowing that I gave them a good exchange. So I think if we don't look at flirting as something that's like only exclusive to people that we want to romanticize, it can just become, like when you said it, juvenile, I like it for that reason. Right? Like I like it because it's like nostalgic. It's a thing that I do that I'm like, I'm just a flirty little teen, you know? It's something that's kind of innocent, I guess is the right word I would use for it.
I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners.
The best summer pieces are the ones you end up wearing on repeat, comfortable, versatile, and somehow right for almost every occasion. And that's why I've been living in Quince lately. If you know me, you know I wear their linen set constantly, whether I'm traveling or just running errands. It's just one of those outfits that makes getting dressed feel effortless. Quince makes incredible elevated essentials using premium materials, all without the traditional retail markup. And in addition to their clothes, I've been obsessed with their 14-karat gold jewelry to finish off an outfit. Now, a simple pair of hoops or a delicate chain makes even a basic look feel so intentional. The best part is everything's priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands because they work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen. Make your summer wardrobe feel easier. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/dateable for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/gold to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/gold for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
I think sometimes, I think why I don't like it is because sometimes it feels like you're dumbing yourself down or it's contrived. But what you're saying doesn't feel like that. It's just adding like a little spice almost, which I think is really important. And I think that's how you kind of radiate that desirability, but also, you know, show desire for someone too. Like I remember a past partner of mine was like, you were flirting with me so much. And that's when I knew like I should make a move. And I'm like, I was flirting with you? Like what? Like I had no idea. So I think sometimes it is important because it gives people signals, but I think sometimes maybe people overthink it. Like what tips would you have for people to kind of bake it in more in a more natural way?
Yeah, other than asking for where the wood section is, because I feel like that is just a misleading question.
Everyone's gonna be like going up to random people, just saying.
I'm just sticking with the Home Depot theme, guys.
Everyone just Stop listening. Go to Home Depot right now.
You know what's interesting about flirting, and that people say like, I didn't even know I was flirting, or I can't tell if someone's flirting. You are biologically designed to flirt, and you are also biologically designed to pick up when someone is flirting with you, which are in the pickup artistry world known as IOIs, or indicators of interest. So even if you're not intentionally like, excuse me, where's the lumber section? Your voice when you're around someone that you're attracted to goes higher. Your pupils dilate, you fidget, you groom yourself. So you fix your hair or you tap your skin. Like you try to expose more of yourself and your skin. You are pelvis to pelvis with that person. Like your body language is open to them. And so even if you don't think to yourself like, oh, I'm doing this flirting thing, your body is like, I would like to do something with this person, probably sexual. And we want to indicate that to that individual. And then that person's brain is like, oh, this person is indicating to me that they like to do something sexual with me because like, again, like mating is something that we have to do to survive. And so your biology or history said to itself, like not everyone's going to be great at this. So we'll just help them out and just have it baked in. That to be said, if you want to be more flirty, I think researching what those things are and exaggerating them, like mirroring is a great one. So when we are attracted to somebody, we naturally will copy whatever emotions they're doing. And again, someone's brain picks up, oh, this person is copying me. One, that can be a thing, but also two, people are attracted to similar. Now we always say opposites attract, but it's like the exact opposite. The more same someone is to you, the more that you will be attracted to them. But mirroring their body language is a great, easy way to do that. Again, I think just showing an interest in somebody is a great flirty technique. And then, like we said, like even just steering the topics towards more arousing things in general, even if there isn't necessarily like chemistry between the two of you, that arousal transfer can activate to open someone's brain to the possibility of there being chemistry. And then that can go somewhere.
Right. And then how do you touch upon the pickup community, and that community kind of talks about flirting, but also talk about game playing. How do you differentiate the two so that people are flirting, but without kind of like the mind games?
I think it's weird to have an intention for someone that you don't know, right? Like it's weird for me to be like, I want to be best friends with you. And we've never had a conversation. I don't know you,
right?
I mean, that's not weird, but I'm saying as an anecdote. Obviously, that's very logical. But I think the thing with pickup artistry that's problematic is being like, I want to have sex with that person. And so I've devised a game plan and I'm going to walk over there and I've got 5 different techniques I can utilize because in the end, I want to have sex with that person. Like, you don't know anything about that person. You don't know what their sexual preferences are, what their likes are, if the two of you would be compatible. You don't know if your body chemistry works. Right. You know, when you just kiss somebody and you don't know why, but like their saliva just doesn't, and they don't have bad breath, but you're like, something about your spit and my spit is just not working. Or like, not that I hate the way that you smell, but it's just like something about it's not good to me. So there's so many factors that come into play with deciding what role somebody should or shouldn't play into your life. And so I think pickup artistry could benefit from curiosity. I think curiosity plus strategy plus communication is the perfect formula. Because I do like what pickup artistry does in that it takes the guesswork out of a really big part of our life. I think with a lot of women-centric dating advice or dating, blogs or books, it's all really vague advice. And it's not like scientific and step by step. That's why in the Game of Desire, it's a 5-phase program because I don't want to just tell people like, be more confident. Because it's like, bitch, fucking duh. Like how, right?
Yeah. What does it mean?
What does that mean? Like be more, just be more mysterious. Like if for somebody who's not mysterious, that doesn't make any sense. So I like the fact that they say, be more, whatever word they would use, like be more flamboyant. And to do that, buy clothes in this color scheme. Pick out one crazy hat. Have a canned response that you walk over to somebody with that accentuates the fact that you are somebody who exists on the outlier of society. And here are some 5 canned responses you can use as an example. So then now this thing that feels like untangible becomes really realistic for you and practical to apply. So I appreciate that side of it, but I just don't think that you should practice these things and become an expert at them so that you can make anyone fall in love with you or make anyone want to have sex with you, because you should value yourself enough to know that not everyone should be having sex with you. Not everybody is worthy of accessing your love and loving.
Amen. Amen to that. So if we were to just put all of this into practice here for all of our listeners, because they span the whole gamut of single and actively dating, those are in relationships, those are getting out of relationships. How can we, let's just look at 3 scenarios, and how can we help each group of people become more desirable? So the single and actively dating group.
Become more desirable. One, first and foremost, really watch what your base attitudes are. So if you are single and actively dating, ask yourself, what do I think about dating? What do I think about first dates? What do I think about meeting new people? What do I think about the process of looking for new people? I find a lot of people have a really negative attitude, a really negative gut reaction to those things. And that shows up.
Definitely.
So if you hate first dates and you dread it, it's just going to show up in every process of the interaction. So that is to say, not that your experiences aren't valid. Like you could hate it, good reason, but then you should also acknowledge like, okay, well, what is the common denominator that's leading me to this negative thing over and over again? Because at the baseline of it all, like what's a date? A date is 2 people who have no real connection to each other. Like it's not that we're neighbors or that you can help me get a promotion at work, or you're my butcher, or maybe you're my hot ass butcher, but I'm not dating you because I want, the best cut of meat. I'm dating you because I'm 2 people who don't really have any other agenda other than just to see if there's something there, who are setting time aside to get to know one another. But like as a married person, it's very rare that I just meet somebody who's like, do you want to just go for coffee later? Right? Like do we have a job together coming up? Like, is there
right.
Like why, why am I making time for you? Just to see if we have something, and no pressure. If we don't, then we'll just unmatch and go separate ways. But I'm just curious to see if we have something. Like that doesn't happen. So if you can just look at it like this is a really cool time. I met more people when I was single and dating than I do as a partnered person. You're just meeting more interesting people. And I say this all the time, when I started to date with intention more and my screening process was better, I didn't meet a lot of people that I spent my life with. Obviously, I chose one person, but the people that I met on dates, I hired to do graphic design work for me, or they did paintings for me. One person that I dated before I got married styled my engagement shoot. Like I met people who helped me reach out to distributors in China because they had a link with them. So I met cool people who had
Still
interesting
quality.
stories. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it could still be a great exchange. And so if you kind of take the pressure off of it to like lead to the one, and just to be one bomb ass experience with a really cool undercurrent underneath it, I feel like that makes a really big impact. You know what? I figured this out. I'm like, why am I talking so fucking much in this podcast? You guys are asking me lifetime achievement questions. So none of these are like short answers. It's not, like, what should I wear on a first date? And I'm like, black. Next question.
So you're saying we're not basic.
We're going
You're
deep.
not basic.
We're going deep.
Because I keep being like, God damn, like, take a breath. But then I'm like, these are hard questions. So
You're just dropping all the knowledge for
give
us.
all the nuances. So anybody who's listening, who's like, God damn, she can talk. It's just, listen, the questions aren't easy. You try it.
Yeah, you try this at home. You try writing a book.
What about those people that are in a relationship and things are going well, but they want to like up the desire?
Yeah.
I think I have a quiz on my website that's called Turn On Triggers. And that's a great base way to start, because I think a lot of people take for advantage. Again, when you first get into a relationship, you have the neurochemical cocktail that's giving you all of the setup that you need. So I'm already thinking about sex when I see you. Now, for people who are in a long-term relationship, you don't look at that person and think sex, because to Yue's point, you might look at that person and think grocery list, look at that person and think like, oh, did you pay the gas bill? Because there's just so much more complexities to our relationship. So in order to get the person prime, where they're in a space where they see sex when they see you, you have to know what turns that person on. And so a turn on trigger is important to note, because it's that cue that says, here's what I'm trying to achieve with you. So for my relationship, my husband's turn on trigger is environmental. So if I wanted to communicate to him that I want this to now be a sexy atmosphere, I have to like clean up, plug in a Glade shit thing, even wearing something. But cleaning up is a massive one. Like he can't have sex around mess. He's also not an exhibitionist. So if the blinds are open, he's distracted the whole time.
No
So
way, really?
that. Yeah, he is so, it's crazy, girl. And like sometimes I'll just push him and try it. Like, let's just do it with the blinds open. It's not enjoyable because the whole time he's like looking over his shoulder. I'm like, fucking just ignore it, Jared. Let's move on. But he can't. So
You're like, I already sold tickets.
it's gotten on. He cannot. He can't get it out of his head. Like someone could come up, someone's looking. So I, on the other hand, am direct language. So if you want to get me in a space, it could be the dirtiest environment. All the blinds could be open. But if you look at me and you're like, holy fuck, you look like the kind of person I would masturbate to. That in itself, I'm like, close off. Now, if I tried that on Jared and it hasn't, worked as well. So sometimes the thing that we would like for ourselves, not what our other partner would like. So I think taking the quiz together, as much as you may not be against that, but that can just open up a dialogue of knowing, okay, if I feel horny and I want my partner to be on the same wavelength, what's the extra step that I can do to try to get them in the same headspace?
Right, right. And would you have the same answer for couples who've been in a relationship for a long time? Let's say they've hit quite a few milestones already.
I would say to that couple, go to Cancun, hire somebody to come and sit. No, I'm playing. I think remaining curious and then pivoting with the changes, not always making the change a bad thing is an important one to note. I also think that spicing it up in the bedroom does not have to be as extreme as going to Cancun, but you do have to spice it up, right? Like your favorite food, when you have like a spot, like my favorite spaghetti is at this spot in the street. And after you have it for 2 years straight, even though it's the same and great food, it might not hit the same for you. And that's just because your brain becomes accustomed to it. And that's kind of the downfall to us being such rapid advancers, right? The iPhone's a perfect product and they've reinvented that shit like fucking 14 times or 11, whatever iPhone 11 X9 that we're on right now. What a crazy thing. Like there's this stupid brick that like can lock you, it can do everything, right? And it's still not good enough. So don't look at it like changes and looking to spice things up is a reflection of a failure. It's just the human condition that things have to evolve and be different in order for us to be continued excited about it. And that's our benefit and our curse. And it also applies to your sex life.
I love
Great
that.
words.
There's so many takeaways from this conversation. It's like, where do we even start? I mean, I think one that definitely comes that kind of follows what you were just saying of change being inevitable, but it's how you look at it. And I love this like mindset shift, whether that is, how we talk about dating current day or how we even describe flirting. Like, I think I even have been brought to the other side that I definitely like flirting and do it. It's just whatever connotation I have with it is, that's a shift that needs to happen, that it can be something that is super sexy and not cheesy and all the stuff that you think.
But you know what the gift of our language is too? You can also shift the word. Like I, for whatever reason, just don't like masturbation. And I know that's a great thing. And there's like masturbation May and all these other things, but the word just feels like, I don't know. So I use self-pleasure instead. So same shit, but I think, if flirting feels like you roll your eyes at yourself, there's probably another word for it. Like, I don't know, energetically exchanging.
Yes, that one.
Totally. But I think like my biggest takeaway for this whole conversation is, especially when it comes to, seduction and flirting and desire, so often we're looking for those tips and like the script that we should do. And I feel like what I've gathered from you is sometimes we need to just not overthink it. We need to just like let things radiate and, like push ourselves so our own personalities are showing through. And that's what's going to like start to radiate that or draw to like call in someone and make them feel good. Like there's things that we can do that are natural to us that aren't like a quick fix and, a hack necessarily. But these are the ways that like we remain desirable, whether it's the start of a relationship or years and years into one.
Here, Julie.
Here, indeed. My biggest takeaway, in addition to Julie's takeaway, is...
Can I just say this feels like an immediate Yelp review?
Atmosphere was great. The food was okay. And service was blah, but I give it 3.5 stars because they gave me free wine. Thanks. My biggest takeaway for this restaurant, Shan Boodram, is I feel like I don't know what makes me desirable, and I should start asking that question. I could have a theory about what makes me desirable, but I've actually never asked my partner straight up what do you desire about me? And that may actually just make me really horny just to hear that. And a lot of this just comes from so much self-awareness and knowing what makes someone desirable, what is it that makes you desirable, and how do we constantly work this muscle so that we keep increasing our desirability factor. And it is something that we can work on. It is something that we can, constantly think about and be more mindful about. And it's not something that just comes naturally. I just love in movies that desirability just comes out of nowhere. And it's like, whoa, two strangers meet on a train. It's like, oh my God. And then things just happen. It doesn't happen that easily, or at least not to most people. So it's nice to know that it is in our control, that we can work on this.
I'm glad you said that too, Yue, about just like asking, because that's something that Shan, I heard you say over and over again. I feel like we have been taught that desirability, you're supposed to be mysterious and you're not supposed to like say what you really want. But just so much that you've said in this is just, I just put it out there. And that's how you can't expect someone to be a mind reader, and I'd rather get my needs met. And I think that's so important that confidence can come through, and it doesn't always have to be the way we've been like told that we're supposed to do these types of like behaviors.
100%. I think that that's just a part of, it's a trade-off though. I will say that there is an exchange that happens when you have to tell somebody what you want and then they do it versus someone just naturally guessing it. And it depends on what you value. And like I said, I value my needs being met. I desire for my desires to matter out there in the world and to come to fruition. And so I want more control over them. But for the person who it's like the surprise element is what they desire, then don't talk about it, keep it silent, and hope you meet a mind reader. And you might. Good luck.
And just keep getting deeper on that, because even in your initial question, what do you desire right now? All I could think about was ice cream. And then you fucking come up with the answer that you need a flirt buddy. I'm like, I never even thought of that as an option. So I feel like I should just be asking myself even more questions. I gotta put it
out there because somebody could be listening to this podcast who's like, I'm the perfect person. You know what I mean?
Girl.
If I don't say it, they're not gonna know. So I gotta put it out there.
You might get hit up, just saying.
1,000%. Yes. 1,000% possibility of a flirt partner coming your way from Home Depot. Just saying. But
I was kind of like, what do I say to this?
Yeah.
It's like, or the generic answer that you're supposed to say. So it does show that maybe we're not thinking about it enough. And if we're not thinking about it enough, how could you expect your partner to be?
I thought you were going to say, Julie, if we're not thinking about it enough, you guys for damn sure aren't thinking about it enough because we're ahead of you.
That too. I would love it if a listener wrote in with like this really detailed one that just put all of ours to shame. That would be amazing.
I've been thinking about this actually. So
yeah, like I was ready for this question.
Yeah, here's my list. Shan, tell us a little bit about your new show. We plugged your book. You're welcome. And then we also want to plug your new show, X-Rated. What is it about? Because the preview I saw, you hooked someone up to a lie detector test to help her find her vulnerability. I was like, damn, that's a whole other level. What is this show about?
So in essence, you come to the show and say, I'm single and I can't figure out why. And then there's a 21 question survey that is issued out to your exes, ranging from hookup buddies to ex-fiancés. And they rate you on a scale of 1 to 10 on these 21 different categories. And then Andy Cohen, who's the host of the show, basically walks you through expectation versus reality. What do you think you are? What are you actually?
Wow.
And then once we identify what someone's weakest area is, I come in and I do an exercise with them to see if we can improve that score. Because not just about embarrassing you on TV and saying, ha, 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 you thought that you were great at foreplay, you're actually trash. It's okay, cool. Well, let's figure out like, how do we improve that your ability to be a better partner in this way right now? And so the lie detector thing, that person in particular had a really hard time with vulnerability because they were a dominatrix. And so much of that is about control and restraint and not sharing what your humanity, but using the tools that you know to bring out somebody else's humanity. But what I was explaining to her is that in needing to maintain that control by not showing people your true emotions, she was actually giving other people more control over her life because everybody else was like, I think that she left early because of this. And that wasn't her truth. Or I think that she closed up or stopped calling altogether because I didn't do this. And that wasn't her truth. So you have other people who are now in control of your narrative because you're so concerned with keeping things, keeping your cards close to your chest. So the lie detector was, those things are not necessarily scientifically true. It was more a device to illustrate, what can happen when you go beyond what you think you're supposed to say.
Interesting. I cannot wait to watch this. So it's on Peacock TV. Where can you watch it?
Yes, so it's on Peacock, which is NBC's streaming app. It was the place you would go to watch the Olympics if you watched the Olympics at all this year. And all 8 episodes have already dropped. It is bingeable. It is cringeable. It is lovable. And so I hope people check it out.
Oh, yes. I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yay.
And Shannon, if people want to find out more about you, what's the best place to go to? I'm guessing your website.
We've given them too much homework. I think we should just stop. You know, we told them to read the book. We told them to watch the X-rated show. They're busy.
Never met a guest who's just like, stop promoting me. Yeah. I'm done.
Well, because I know the human brain can only like pick up 3 pieces of information. So we've already like hit our max. So this is just me to double down and say, get the book. It's on Audible. If you are fascinated by this, you can get Audible. You get a free book when you sign up for Audible. So I read that shit. You like my voice? Go get that. Or watch the Peacock show. That's it. You want to read? You want to watch some shit? Watch some shit.
You got something for everyone.
Something for everybody.
Or if you just want to self-pleasure, you just self-pleasure. You know what?
Exactly.
You do you.
Home Depot accepts everybody.
Everybody is welcome at Home Depot.
You want to feel desired? That's where you go.
Yes.
That's where you go.
Where's the wood section? Okay. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, Shan. Thanks so much for making this happen. It's been a miracle. So, woo! Miracles do happen. I can't wait for all of our listeners to give us their feedback, because I'm sure this is going to elicit a lot of feedback from everybody who comes in contact. For all of our listeners, you know what we desire is reviews in Apple Podcasts. 5 stars. That's where the wood comes in. When you give us 5 stars, we're like, you got to the wood section. Yes, you navigated yourself there. So yes, if you can give us 5 stars, that is lovely. And if you can give us a little blurb from the club of why you gave us 5 stars, is even better. Helps us get amazing guests like Shan, who agree to talk to us.
That is the damn truth. The only way that I get booked on podcasts is if they have the number. It's the number of reviews that my management team bases it on. So 1,000% is true. You think it's a superfluous thing? It really makes a big difference.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for validating us. I feel seen. I feel heard. I feel good. And now we can wrap up this episode.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.